WJTS News, I'm Charlotte Olson. A Huntingburg mother and her 9-month-old baby, who authorities say was not safely restrained in their vehicle, were both life-flighted to an Evansville hospital after they were involved in a 2-vehicle crash on Wednesday evening on Jasper's southeast side. Indiana State Police say that just before 9 p.m. last night, 15-year-old Veronica Dubon of Huntingburg was traveling southbound on Meridian Road, just north of State Road 162. Investigators believe that Dubon failed to yield at the intersection of Meridian and State Road 162 and pulled her 2002 Dodge Stratus into the path of a westbound 2005 Chevrolet Cobalt. That Cobalt was driven by 28-year-old Morgan Schneier of Jasper. Police say the impact of Schneier's Chevy into Dubon's Dodge caused her unrestrained baby to be ejected from the vehicle. First responders with the Jasper Fire Department had to extricate Dubon from her driver's seat, and police say that the baby was transported by medical helicopter to St. Mary's Medical Center in Evansville, where she was listed to be in stable condition. Dubon was also transported by ambulance to St. Mary's for injuries sustained and was also listed to be in stable condition. Schneier was taken to Memorial Hospital in Jasper for a laceration to her knee. Police say the crash remains under investigation by the Indiana State Police Crash Investigation Team. They were assisted on scene by the Jasper Police and Fire Departments, the DuBois County Sheriff's Department, and the Memorial Hospital Emergency Medical Services. A traffic stop on Jasper's south side early this morning ended with a pair of arrests on drug possession charges. Around 1 o'clock this morning, Jasper police officers conducted a traffic stop near the intersection of US 231 and Indiana Street. The vehicle was stopped because they had a faulty turn signal. The vehicle's occupants were 20-year-old Caleb Dubon Jr. of Huntingburg and 21-year-old Carlos Alexander Hernandez Casnita of Jasper. The police offered their consent to search the vehicle, and it was at that time that they found 1.5 grams of meth and 1 gram of marijuana, along with paraphernalia. Both Dubon and Hernandez Castillo were taken to and booked into the DuBois County Security Center on a level 6 felony count of possession of methamphetamine and a misdemeanor count of possession of marijuana and paraphernalia. Last night, the Jasper City Council listened to an update from Pete Swaggerwatt with Miller Valentine on revisions taking place with the development of the Vine Street Loft Senior Housing Project and the Jasper Lofts. Swaggerwatt discussed rates of the apartments, informing the council that they are sometimes based on the potential income of future residents. Swaggerwatt spoke on the targeted completion date of the Jasper Lofts and says that the developer plans to implement a pre-marketing campaign along with a grand opening.
Can I ask a clarifying question on the Jasper Lofts? You're looking at completion when now?
You know, I would have to get a physical date. I imagine it's basically this summer, you know, whether that's early or late or mid. I can probably get a better time and nail that down in email.
And you've begun marketing?
Yes, they have started the pre-leasing.
Can you say how that's going?
It's going well. I haven't heard anything positive or negative. We're still pretty early on. It's kind of hard to get folks out there when it hadn't taken enough shape, and now it's starting to. The parking lots are taking shape. You can see the open space that's going to be incorporated into the building, so I think that they're certainly ramping into that pretty aggressively now.
But a couple of weeks ago we walked through, and you could see it taking shape. It's pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Miller Valentine has made for some revisions in the property layout and the building itself. The apartments will remain unchanged as the revisions were necessary to cap the cost. The Jasper Stormwater Management Board approved earlier this year the recommendation that City Engineer Chad Herm adopt the Vine Street area for the stormwater project and could be in Phase 2 process. Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz summarized what the council's efforts in regards of the time frame for conditioning Vine Street as far as drainage and curbs.
For council's understanding, the Stormwater Board approved earlier this year the recommendation of the city engineer, Chad Herm, to adopt that Vine Street area, generally 13th to 14th, that area of a stormwater project may be a 2-phase. The other project is in River Center, so that was, again, coming out of stormwater funds. But to that end, that brought us there last week on site to look at, you know, if we do any conditioning of the street or need to do some curbing and guttering, the timing may may be right now to do that jointly, and we're just evaluating that, putting some cost and numbers together and what it could look like. I think it's optimal from the city's perspective, and you're welcome to agree or disagree that this is not an industrial area as much as it's now a housing area, certainly from 13th North, and recognizing that it looks kind of like 14th to 15th at minimum compared to south of 13th. And we're just at that point. But I think it's, again, a tremendous opportunity, and very happy to have, it looked a little unusual to have 10 or 12 people standing in the middle of the street last week. I'm sure people drove by, but it was there for a reason.
The Jasper Lofts is 70 to 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments located in the former Jofco building located on the corner of East 13th and Vine Streets. Also last night, the council approved a resolution to transfer ownership of former Jasper Wood Products buildings and property from Empire Enterprises LLC to Vine Street Lofts LLC. Regarding this tax amendment, in 2016, the council approved the resolution for creating the economic revitalization area required for the tax amendment of Vine Street Lofts. The tax amendment is now applicable to the Vine Street development. And finally, last night, the Jasper City Council learned that a new member will soon be joining the group. Councilman Greg Schneier submitted his resignation from the council. Schneier, a Democrat, was forced to leave due to the fact that he is moving from District 2 area that he represents. The DuBois County Democrats will pick Schneier's replacement during a caucus, which is set for next Saturday, March the 4th. Potential replacements include Carol Ward, Tammy Lampert, and John Schrader. Schrader held the District 2 seat on the Jasper Council for a number of terms before deciding not to run for re-election prior to the 2011 election, at which time Schneier won his first term on the council. If you have driven past Patoka Lake anytime this past winter, you may have noticed that the lake's water level is much lower than it has been in years past. Here is 18 WJTS News reporter Zach Gruber with the story.
If you have driven past Patoka Lake any time this past winter, you may have noticed that Patoka Lake's water levels are very low this year. This is no reason to worry, though. This is actually the correct water level for Patoka Lake. 18 WJTS has talked to Natural Resource Manager for Patoka Lake, Greg Carpenter, and the Maintenance Chief, Tom DeKemper, about what the water levels should be and how they differ from each year.
But one thing I'd say is, like, this is actually where we're supposed to be. So this is, we finally got it down to winter pool, and if things worked out every year like it did this year, you would see this every year. Just a lot of years we haven't been able to bring it down to where this is actually in the operational management plan where we're supposed to be. Okay. Right? I mean, we're right at that today. Yep.
Tom DeKemper said that the last time Patoka Lake was at this level was February of 2008, and the reason Patoka hasn't reached that level since is because of rain in the fall and early spring months. DeKemper spoke on how Patoka judges on what water levels need to be throughout the year.
We work with our district office. We have, we got hydrologists and engineers and a variety of people that provide that information. But
and there won't be any spillway flowage. It will be through our conduit. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry, yes. And that's all done as a graft we have for 12 months. We know every month where we're supposed to be on this band as far as either a ramp up for the oncoming summer traffic as far as boating and recreation, and then the drawdown for the winter. We actually start drawing the lake down 15 September. And then it is until 15 January that we're supposed to be at 532. Mm-hmm.
There's 14 million gallons of water that flow out of Patoka Lake every day at a minimum, but again, this is not an issue. Patoka Lake's summer pool should be up to its normal level this summer for loads of outdoor fun. Patoka Lake officials would like to remind everyone to stay safe on Patoka Lake's blue waters. Reporting for 18 WJTS, I'm Zach Gruber.
Thank you, Zach. And make sure you keep it right here, because up next, take a look at your weather summary.